Hey, it's Jeff McNichol down here at Mom's Music, 1900 Melwood Avenue. And I was just thinking, when I was a kid, the magic was at Frankfort Avenue, the Mom's Music at Frankfort Avenue. And I used to beg people to get a ride down there just to hang out with the guys and see all the cool gear. Now that I'm the owner of this store, it's like a dream come true. We're recreating the magic with the vibe that we used to have at the old store. We're carrying all the gear that you're going to possibly want. We're giving you the outstanding service and personal attention that you deserve. Yeah, so we've got the great guitar shop here. We're carrying USA Fender, USA Gibson, Paul Reed Smith, Gretsch, Jackson, Charvel, anything you could possibly want, we're going to have it for you. Mom's is and always will be Louisville's music store.
Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I am your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now let's get this show on the road. Thank you all for tuning into the Metal Forge this week. I'm Mark Jackson. I'm your host. How are you all doing, metalheads? Today, I have James Oliver from Sadistic Force from Austin, Texas in with us today. Some rad Black Thrash. And you know, just like everything in Texas, it's bigger and better. But some pretty cool news. I'm going to be featuring some German metal bands over the next few weeks, which these are going to be the first bands from Germany on the Metal Forge. And in June, I'm going to be talking with a band out of Colombia, South America. I'm super stoked for those because being able to talk with these bands from all over the world, well, the English-speaking parts of the world, that's pretty fucking cool to me. So keep them coming. Thank you all for making suggestions to me and giving me so many of these awesome fucking bands out there that I can contact and say, hey, let's talk on the Metal Forge. Some other cool news this week before we get into the interview. I've had quite a few bands hit me up about the Metal Forge Compilation album, and I'm going to be making some more announcements on it soon. I know we're going to have it released on a few different media types. You know, I'm pretty sure we're going to look at doing cassettes, CDs, vinyl. We might be doing some other things, digital, of course. So stay tuned to that. We're going to be having some pre-orders coming up soon. Stay tuned because I'm going to make a special announcement about it. We might even do a special show for it. So, before we get into the interview with James here, last week's question was, who did you always want to see perform live, but were unable to because of a sudden death? Nate from Spellbook said Typo Negative. Man, you know what, Nate, I'm right there with you. I'm not the biggest fan of Typo, but I appreciate everything they've done in the music scene, you know, especially like the earlier stuff, like with Carnivore and so on and so forth. Completely rad answer. Yes, Typo, just because of the atmosphere, I think, and they do have some great songs. Bex says Death, and you know what, I'm kind of at a loss for that one, because yeah, I agree 100%, and you know, with Evil Chuck, I think that's still going to be one that hurts a lot of us metalheads out there, is that, you know, it was just so unexpected and just ridiculous. The next one on the list, you know, I've had several people message me about it, and it's Pantera. And I understand that completely, and I did get to see them a few times. But just like with Evil Chuck, I think with all of us metalheads out there, that's still going to be one that we're always going to be hurt over. Just because of the situation of what happened, and it was unnecessary and ridiculous and bullshit. Even when we're going to be 75 years old, it's still going to hurt because it just sucks. It's a shitty situation. Zach from Fingernails was Rammstein, but it wasn't because of a death. It was due to the global fucking pandemic. And you know what? You and me both, brother. We all missed out on a lot of shows last year. I personally had tickets to see Metallica before James had to go back to rehab. Ozzy before he was sidelined due to his Parkinson's diagnosis, along with Judas Priest because they were touring with Ozzy for last year. The other one was Rammstein, obviously because of the pandemic, and Merciful Fate, and actually the whole Psycho Las Vegas lineup because of this shit. And it's like, fuck, man. I'm gonna be glad when, you know, when we can get through all of this and actually start going to real shows again, everybody needs to stay safe, stay healthy, do what you need to do. But yeah, I can't explain it. It's one of those things. Caitlin and a few other people have said this as well. Lincoln Park. And I get that, because that's a terrible thing to have happen anyways, which brings me to my next part of the show. It's like, mental health awareness should be something that everyone is educated on all of the time, because it is such a terrible thing that a lot of people don't feel like they have anybody to turn to. If you ever feel that way, do not ever hesitate. Reach out to me. I will talk to you about anything you need to talk about. If you need to just get something off your chest, shoot me a message, metalforgeradio@gmail.com. I will listen. Shoot me a message on Instagram, on Facebook. I will answer your messages. That's such a terrible, terrible thing. So my answer to this question is Tom Petty. And it's like, wow, Mark, that's not really that metal. Well, Tom Petty to me was the one that anytime he came on tour and was anywhere near me, I was not in a good place either financially, mostly just, being stable with shit like that. It's just, I'm still just like the Evil Chuck and just like the Pantera one. That one still hurts because, ironically enough, I was heartbroken when he died, because that's going to be the one that got away. And yeah, there's a few other people out there like Judas Priest that I still need to see, and ZZ Top. But, after they're gone, it's kind of hard. So, anyway, this week's question is, what concert did you think you would never get to attend? You know how it is. Post it to me. Send me messages. I'll get you on here. We're going to do this. Make sure you guys are clicking the links to the bands below, the official websites, the Bandcamp pages, the YouTube pages, the Spotify playlist. Without being able to play shows, this is the only way these guys can make any kind of money. So please, click those links, show your support, and help these people out, because they are the ones that need it the most. Also, thank you to the sponsors, Mom's Music, Maxwell's House of Music. Go get your gear from those places. Check out Bert, Bobby, Brooks, Howard, and Mike at both of the stores. Click the links, momsmusic.com, maxwellshouseofmusic.com. I also want to say, anywhere you can get this podcast, you can get the Wrestling Steve Show, the It's Gonna Get Weird podcast, and the Night Demon Heavy Metal podcast. So please, after you're done listening to this show, listen to these people as well. They have great content, super fucking rad people. Check them out. Also, Better Days Records, if you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, or you can click below. They have a Discogs page for some really cool, rare shit you can find. So, check out Better Days Records. All right, Metalheads, I'm being joined here with James from Sadistic Force in Austin, Texas. James, how the fuck are you today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to be here.
Hell yeah, man. So, Sadistic Force, Austin, Texas. As Brian Johnson said, in Texas we had some fun, right? And that's what it's all about, right?
For sure, yeah.
Tell everybody out in Metal Forge land about Sadistic Force.
Yeah, Sadistic Force. I think, some of your listeners, this will be the introduction to us. We just transitioned, from a couple months ago. It was like my bedroom project to now it's a 3-piece Black Thrash band. I would call it pretty unrelenting heavy metal.
Definitely. I've been watching the videos on Instagram where you've been posting the promo videos of like the practice and just jam out stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It went from a passion project to now it's a full-fledged band.
Yeah, I got my rhythm section now. It feels more like a true band than before, because it was like, well, what do I call it? When it was just me and a drummer, it's like, well, is that a project? If shows were still a thing, like that would have made it really like, oh, this is a metal project. Like, this isn't like a band. But now, we're gearing up to be able to play shows, whenever they come around.
Yeah, whenever they come around. Which I've noticed that seems to be the trend here over the pandemic era of music at this point, is there's so many passion projects where bands have went on hiatus because of not being able to play shows, so they've talked to some of their friends and have just put out, small time stuff that's just, just either fun or, just something different than what their normal routine is.
Yeah, I was just listening to a little bit of Truck Flag yesterday.
Yes, shout out. You have read my mind. Shout out to Truck Flag.
Yeah, I was in some traffic too and just jamming Truck Flag for the first time.
I love Nick. He's great.
Yeah, I got a chuckle out of some of those lyrics for sure.
Oh, yeah. So you have a new release that actually came out back in April, which is called First Strikes, and it looks like it's the 2 EPs together, but on cassette form. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's both the first 2 EPs, one on each side.
Hell
so
yeah.
It's a compilation. Yeah, it's pretty sick. I'm stoked on it. It's from Mercenary Press in London, and it's their first release.
I am well aware of Mercenary Press because in my hand right now, I actually have issue 1 of Mercenary Press.
Yeah, the cool zine they made.
Yes, and
love it.
Zines back in the day, this just shows you how technology has changed. Because zines
it's high quality.
Yes. So this is like quality that you could go and put on a newsstand somewhere, where you get like stuff like Maximum Rock and Roll before they went to like the digital format and all that. They look like they were printed on recycled newspaper. And this is just like, this could be like passed off as like a tour program or something. Yeah, it's the half page format, but like these zines today are ridiculous. Like this Mercenary Press one, Soul Grinder zine, so many more out there that are just so high quality just from the print alone, which is super
Soul Grinder's
cool.
Badass. Soul Grinder zine, we're actually going to be on the next compilation.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not, but the dude sent me like a care package of all this Soul Grinder zine stuff.
Definitely. Paul is good
looks
peeps.
Badass. Hell yeah.
Paul is good peeps, and Andy is good peeps as well with Stabby Hamlet.
Oh, yeah, I've got the sticker. I've got the Stabby Made Me Do It sticker.
Nice. Yep, I have that one as well. He does some distribution stuff, which is super fucking rad as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, Pain, Sex, and Rapture, Black Moon Sadism. You've got something on here that's really cool, and I was just jamming it out earlier today. I can't play it on the show because obviously people would get probably upset, and if I were to upload it to YouTube, it'd get taken down immediately, which is Hellbent for Leather.
Yeah, just kind of threw that one in there on Pain, Sex, and Rapture. Figured, why not, I never intended, to do any covers starting out, but then I was like, you want to do some Priest? Sounds kick-ass. They played it here on the local radio.
Nice.
In Austin. Yeah, I didn't find out about it until the next day, though, but they played it on Local Licks Live, which is like a pretty legendary radio show.
It surprised me when I the first time I heard it and I got to the end and I heard that Hellbent for fucking Leather, and I'm like, whoa, yes!
Yeah, I was having some fun with that one. I think doing vocals is probably the most fun part of the whole studio recording process for me.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things for me personally, because I'm doing vocals in my group as well. It's you can expand on yourself to a degree.
Yeah, totally.
You can actually get in to be somebody else at that point that would Mark or James do this just as them as a person normally, or are you cranking up the volume?
Yeah, I'm cranking it up. It's like fun, makes you feel good.
For sure. Which, some people might call that ego, but I don't think it is. I think it's finding out who you need to be.
Yeah, I look forward to doing that kind of frontman thing eventually on the stage,
For sure.
It'll happen probably later this year, I guess.
Well, I'm hoping so, because the whole show thing, it sucks because nobody's been able to have shows, or they've only been like outside shows or limited capacity shows, social distance shows.
Right.
I would much prefer to do something like that, and in the past, I've been kind of outspoken against doing the digital live streams. Yeah, it was cool for a time, and then it just kind of went away for a lot of people.
Yeah, I watched a couple of those. It was all right.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're doing it in a place where the audio capture is amazing, it's pretty hard to pull it off.
I watched the Vanek one that came out in October. That was pretty cool.
Oh, loved it. Yes, I watched that one as well.
Yeah,
he's a super rad dude for sure, and he has so many awesome things that he's doing. With Vanek, with Vandalis, Midnight, just so many rad fucking projects that he has.
I was just noticing that from some of the guests you've had on the show, it's like a lot of the patches on my vest. I got a Vanek patch, I got the Bat back patch, I got Hell Ripper, and I got a Venom button.
Nice. And see, that's what it is, because, you know, they're on, not all of them are actually on my vest right now, but I've got a tote with about 75 patches that I need to put on a new vest. So
right, yeah,
that's my thing.
New vest.
And, you know, and looking here at the very top of it, there is a and I'll snap a picture of this. There's a Sadistic Force patch there on the top.
Oh, hell yeah.
Shout out to, you know, Mercenary Press for sending that when I ordered the issue #1.
Yeah, those are sick.
Oh, yeah. I'm such a patch hound when it comes to, you know, merch. For me, you can't always get albums from bands when they come to a show, because especially if it's like somebody that's crazy big, they don't sell CDs or vinyl at a lot of their shows, because you could go to the store and get it. But like for a lot of these independent bands where, you know, if they don't carry enough or they run out of stock on tour, I'm a big guy and shirts usually are a no-go.
I've seen that happen for sure. I've been on tour myself as a merch guy, and I've gotten that complaint many a time.
That the shirts, do you have it in a 4X or anything?
Yeah.
And a lot of people won't print them. Sometimes you'd be
they
good
actually
for,
cost more, I think.
They do, because you know, being the merch guy for the Metal Forge and Overload, yes, they do cost more.
Mm-hmm.
And as
but
much
I bet
as
when you see it though, you're stoked.
Oh, absolutely.
I bet you're like, I will take one.
The only I usually am, until I get up there and it's like a $45 price tag or some shit, and I'm like, what?
Oh yeah.
and that's strictly going out to like the bigger bands like the Alice Coopers and the Metallicas and shit like that are just like, they're really just raking in money off of, you know,
those
a $6 shirt.
So expensive, yeah.
And it's like, I remember the first time I went to a show and saw a shirt, and the first ever show I went to, like bigger band show, was Social Distortion.
Cool.
And their shirt was $12.
Good deal.
Absolutely good deal.
Yeah.
And then I went to see Aerosmith like a year later, and they were $20.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 2 years after that, I saw like a $35 shirt, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, for sure. Once you see like the real big bands, you see the shirts are all like $35, and it's a bit prohibitive, you know?
Well, yeah, because I mean, especially if you're gonna go to a show and get a beer or anything like that, you know.
Well, that's $8 right there.
Yeah, that's about the only thing that like pricing really hasn't changed on. They've always been like $8.
Yeah. At the bigger venues, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. So anyways, we've been like jamming off on this for like a time here. So let's talk about you guys again.
All right.
We'll get into some more cool stuff here in a minute. So
for sure.
It was just the two of you. So whenever you all were going to actually put this together, did you get together and jam things out? Did you already have ideas and just brought in a drummer? How did that work?
Yeah, it was just the one of me, and then I like hit up a couple different drummers that I knew, and we just kind of banged it out, just made it work. There wasn't too much, changing of the rhythms or the riffs or anything like that.
Definitely.
And I was just glad that the songs worked with drums. I was like, cool. You know,
oh, yeah,
no
absolutely.
idea that they would even work.
Right, where you have to look at it and say, okay, does this work, and what do you have to change? Because adding any kind of other instrumentation to it, it really can change it. That's just like guitar players that write to the drummer.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, vice versa, that works the same way. A drummer can write to a guitar player.
For sure, yeah, I guess that's what we're doing now. I've got a new drummer now. His name's Jose, and then I got Blaine on bass. So we've established a nice power trio. And I pretty much wrote a full-length album that we're going to be in the studio later this month, starting to record. And they're just kind of learning the parts, and sounding really good so far.
Hell yeah. Power trio is the way to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of great bands.
Oh, definitely. I've definitely been outspoken about that as well. You know, there's a ton of fucking bands out there that
Tank.
have three people. Tank, Motorhead, Rush,
Yeah.
that have such a great...
Their Destruction is a good one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That have such
Fucking
a
killer.
great brotherhood, I guess you could say, that where they're all in sync with one another and they know all of what's going to happen and what's going on, and they're just a tight, well-oiled machine. Sometimes, I think when some bands out there that if they were to add another member to it, I don't think it would work as much.
Sure. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. I mean,
there is the 80s version of Motorhead with the two guitar players.
Yeah, with Wurzel and Phil.
Yeah.
And, that's great for that time period. But
some good tunes, for sure.
Yeah, definitely good tunes. They had some really good, some banging albums in that time period. And I think that after Wurzel left, because he was burnt out from being on the road for the last decade. I get what he's saying there. But after he left, that band evolved again.
Right.
And reinvented themselves to what they became for the last, 20 years of their career until Lemmy's death.
I really liked Aftershock.
Yeah.
That penultimate one, I think, was like 2013.
Definitely, yeah. Where it's the desert-looking cover. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great album.
I 100% agree with that. But let's take a real quick break. Let's come right back, and let's get into some more Sadistic Force.
Hey guys, Wrestling Steve of the Wrestling Steve Show here. So if you're currently listening to the Metal Forge with Mark Jackson, then you understand that Mark Jackson has a pretty discerning taste when it comes to music as a whole. You'll also understand that he has a discerning taste for professional wrestling, just like me. My show is called the Wrestling Steve Show. I talk about modern and classic pro wrestling in a completely unbiased, unfiltered way. Be sure to check me out on all available podcasting platforms. That is the Wrestling Steve Show. And I am the host, Wrestling Steve. Just remember, like Confucius said, man who goes through turnstile in Thailand is going to Bangkok. Pro wrestling.
Hey, are y'all in a band? Do you need merch for shows? By now I'm sure you've seen all the Metal Forge patches that are available, along with many more. Well, the printer I use for those is UKR Patcher. Check them out on Facebook and Etsy. They do awesome custom work and for extremely affordable prices for any band budget. Check them out, UKR Patcher on Facebook and Etsy. So you've got the new studio album that you're starting to record.
Oh yeah.
Can you go into any details on it? Is it gonna be like all thrash, no trash, like
pretty much
8 songs, 14 songs? Do you know?
We got 8 so far, are all ready to go. Lyrics and everything. I mean, it doesn't really get particularly slow. There's no like clean guitar or anything on there. It's pretty balls to the wall. Like the slowest song on there is still pretty fast.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna kick ass. It's gonna have a general like theme to it that I won't get into just yet, but like I'm trying to come out with something sort of original for the subgenre, and it's gonna harken back to like Ace of Spades era Motorhead in its own way, and it's probably gonna be some sick drumming on there, and that's whatever.
Hey, that's what I'm looking forward to with bands is don't give me something I've heard a million times, because it's still good. Going back to the well is always great.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can put in something new, because see, I'm a big fan of bands like Rush and Jethro Tull.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like Tull a lot, actually.
Yeah, and it's like I want to hear a metal Jethro Tull. And I'm not talking like
prog metal.
Well, not necessarily prog metal, but like, could you imagine if Aqualung was done like anything by like Motorhead?
That'd be tight.
Yeah.
I almost consider like Heavy Horses and Song from the Wood. I'm like, this is like acoustic metal.
Oh, absolutely. Oh no, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And actually, one of the songs that I deem it as a metal song too. And I deem it as a metal song because of subject matter. Because I think music doesn't
broadsword
actually wind up.
Oh, okay.
The last track on Aqualung. And it starts out pretty low key and everything, and then it just gets into this balls to the wall, heavy, jabbing like lyrical part. And that's where me as a artist and as a fan of music, I tend to think that you can do heavy music. It doesn't always have to be distorted. You know, you don't have to play with the gain on 11.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that you can have something that is equally as heavy just out of subject matter alone versus the sound that you're creating.
Yeah, I could agree with that for sure. I'm definitely trying to expand my attack in terms of various techniques moving forward. Like I've got a little journal, and I'll write down various things that I could do on the guitar that I haven't done yet.
Right.
And it's not going to get too wild and crazy, you know.
You're not going to do like the Nigel thing from Spinal Tap where you're instead of playing the guitar with the bow, you're actually playing it with the violin. No.
Yeah, and then I tuned the violin because the
Yes.
violin was a little out of tune.
Yes.
And I was just telling somebody the other day that you got to watch that movie if you have the DVD with the commentary on.
Oh, yeah.
Because they stay in character the whole time and they're like pissed off.
Yeah. It is so great. Such.
I love it.
You know, my drummer has never seen that. And I actually let him borrow the film. I said, you have to watch this. And he had it for like 6 or 7 months, and I was like, "Did you ever watch it?" And he's like, "No, it's still sitting on the shelf." I was like, "Just bring me the fucking thing back." And
it's one of the best comedies ever.
Oh, absolutely, and it's so true. It's the shit that happens to everybody out there.
That's what it seems like. Even when it first came out, like people were all like, "This is my band," you know.
Yeah, and still to this day, it's mine. You know. Yeah. As you get older, you tend to take it with a grain of salt, and you're just like, "Oh fuck, Spinal Tap, here we go." You know, you roll your eyes and shrug, and be like, "Well, if this is the way it's going to be, it's going to be that way." What about you? Do you have any Spinal Tap moments?
So far,
everybody's got to have one.
Nothing as far as Sadistic Force has happened, but I do seem to remember I used to be in a band and I had a fog machine, and I wanted to have fog on the stage, right? And it had like a remote control, and for whatever reason, the fog never came out. Like somebody knocked it over from one of the other bands, and the juice fell out. Like whatever. Like I was trying to give a cue to like my drummer's girlfriend who had the remote, and I was like, "This song takes place on a dark and stormy night, very foggy, a super foggy night," and then she didn't,
nothing.
She didn't get the hint.
Yeah, and nothing.
So I don't know. Hopefully, I'll have better luck with the fog machine with Sadistic Force.
I saw a band one time. I had the fog machine as well, and it would sit there and it would only sputter. It would be like, and then that would be it. And then it would go again in like another like minute and a half. And it's like, Jesus. It's like, really? That's all it's like.
Right. Be better to like not have it at all at that point.
For sure. So, I do want to make sure and mention this. Today, Friday, May 7th, is Bandcamp Friday.
Oh, yeah.
So go down there, click the Bandcamp link below to Sadistic Force, support these guys, because Bandcamp is waiving their revenue shares that they take. You know, so everything that you pay for a copy of their EPs goes directly to the bands on Bandcamp Fridays.
Oh, yeah.
So
we got a lot of good stuff on there.
Absolutely. Which the URL is sadisticforce.bandcamp.com. So click it, support these guys, for sure.
Thank you.
So let's get into some general profile questions here for you.
Okay.
So this is all about James. This is what makes James tick as a person.
Sure.
What metal band does everyone else like but you?
Man, I don't want to get in too much trouble for that one. Pantera, I don't know.
I understand. I mean,
I got a few of them. I'll go with Pantera, maybe.
Definitely. I mean, I can get that because things have to come around again, I think. You can only hear something so many times before you're just like, well, fuck.
Actually, unpopular opinion, I like that probably my favorite record by them would be Power Metal.
Nice. We'll get into
I
another.
Heard that. I was like, this is fucking pretty good.
That's a freebie on the most unpopular opinion question, because that does come around here soon.
Okay.
So y'all just got a freebie.
I have a lot of unpopular opinions, I'm sure, about many things.
That's what this is about. What advice would you give your younger self?
Ooh. I don't know, probably save, put some money in a savings account or something like that, you know?
Definitely.
Practice more, you know?
Right on. So, pretty down-to-earth things. Nothing too crazy like buy Bitcoin or nothing like that.
Oh, man, I guess that could have been a good thing to do.
Right. I actually know somebody that kind of cleaned up on it.
Nice. I'm still waiting for something like that to happen to me, you know? It'll happen. I'll get the GameStop stock or whatever.
Right. Other than music, what do you invest too much time into?
I like to read, like, fantasy books. Right and sometimes, yeah, you know, get pretty into that. And, like, it's like hours later, and I'm like, oh, wow.
You're like, I've got to be up at 5 to go to work.
Right, yeah. I'm just
and here it's like
what happened to my day? Yeah, like, maybe not the most productive thing, but, like, you get into it, you know, if the book is gripping. Other than that, you know, I'm big into, like, horror movies.
Right on. What is something that you have always wanted to do, but you're not coordinated enough to do?
Well, like, when I was younger, I was just as much into, like, skateboarding as I was into playing guitar, but that shit is hard to do.
Right.
It's, like, the most difficult thing I've ever tried. So I kind of realized that I was better at playing guitar. But I'm sure there's people out there that are great at skating that can't play guitar well, you know.
Right. You know,
wish they could or whatever.
Look at the measuring stick on this is James Hetfield.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with this story? Not once, but twice he broke his ankle skateboarding before tours.
Yeah, I think I've heard that.
Twice. Yeah. So much, in fact, that there is a clause in their contract that he is not allowed to skateboard 6 weeks before a tour.
Right.
So,
well,
yeah.
No joke. And he didn't even break, like, a wrist or an elbow, you know?
No, but he couldn't go on tour. I mean, fuck, man. I mean, as much as I love Metallica, Dave Grohl broke his leg on stage and came back and finished the show.
Yeah, I remember that.
No, I'm just being a jackass now. So. All right, James, hang out with me for a second here. We're going to take another quick break.
Hey, it's Mark Maxwell at Maxwell's House of Music. Listen, all this stuff is now available to purchase on our website. Check it out at maxwellshouseofmusic.com.
We carry all the top brands, like Fender.
We got Gibson.
We also have basses.
We've got ukuleles.
We got drums.
We've got sound gear.
We've got keyboards.
Hi, this is Frank Green from the It's Gonna Get Weird podcast, a podcast I host with Scott Clark. You're gonna get everything you need on the podcast. Lots of laughs, lots of music, some sports, and maybe some inappropriate shit. Usually that's Scott's forte. Check it out. It's Gonna Get Weird. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and everywhere you get your podcasts online. It's Gonna Get Weird.
I'm gonna put my foot right in your ass. Oh! Hey!
Back on this, where you mentioned the Pantera thing, is the other side of this question here is, what band do you like that none of your friends like?
Ooh, well, this is a kind of funny coincidence because for me, that would be, no, it would be the Smiths.
Wow.
I don't know if I should even admit this because, like, no one's going to want to listen now. But, yeah, the Smiths kick ass. And I watched a video where it's Phil Anselmo going through all the Smiths records and talking about how much he loves them. So it's kind of a funny coincidence.
Well, it is. And you know, people like what they like.
Yeah, he was like, Cemetery Gates. He's like, it's not a coincidence. Because
right.
I guess he was inspired by the Smiths in his own way.
Well, definitely.
But yeah, people give me so much shit for that. They're like, fuck no. Like, don't put that on.
Well, you know, here's the thing. And I've been crazy outspoken about this in a couple of different forums. Here on the show, I run a Facebook page. It's dedicated to battle jackets and vests and shit like that. And there's one thing that happens on there, and it drives me crazy, and I had to ban a member for doing this. It pisses me off ridiculously, is gatekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
People like what they like.
Especially on the internet, gatekeeping is probably more common than in
oh, yeah.
in real life.
Well, True, but I think back in the day, especially in the thrash era of the day, gatekeeping was, posers, calling someone a poser. Oh, you
you couldn't listen to fucking Motley Crue.
Yeah, you're a poser.
If you were at the Exodus show, they'd fucking kick your ass or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Paul, in all actuality, from everything I've ever seen and read about Paul Bailoff, he was a nutty guy. So
yeah, he was awesome.
He was insane. But yes, absolutely. So, the whole people like what they like, Star Wars is a big gatekeeping community as well. Like, oh, you like the prequels? Well, you're not a real fan. Fuck that. Fuck that.
Right.
What was your favorite TV show growing up?
It depends on the age, but I was super
I would say
into
that you're most fond of.
Scooby Doo comes to mind as a kid. Really liked that.
Right on. Now, when you say Scooby Doo, do you mean the mid to late '90s version, or are you talking 1960s, '70s?
I was watching all the '60s shit because that channel Boomerang had just come out, and
oh yes,
there was Jabberjaw and all kinds of old school shit. Johnny Quest.
Yep, they had Masters of the Universe on there when it first came out.
Yeah, I was obsessed with that movie with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh hell yeah! I
had
still
the
love
VHS
that film to
tape.
this day. Still love that
I
film to
rewatched
this day.
it 2 years ago, and it held up
for as much as it could.
Good.
For as much as it could, yes. Some of the at least one good quotable line out of there. I will say at least one.
You're just saying that they?
Yeah, I'm just saying there's I know of at least one. Not many, but at least one.
Yeah, there's some good performances in there. I liked Evil Lynn.
Oh, Meg Foster, absolutely.
Meg Foster, yeah.
I absolutely dig Frank Langella's Skeletor. I think it added a completely new, from how Skeletor was in the cartoon, it added some kind of demonicness to him, especially when he becomes Golden God Skeletor. Crazy shit. I wish.
Yeah, that actor in general is kind of a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I wish I could have done is hear about, I think it was either last year or 2019, Super 7 released a 4-figure set of He-Man, Skeletor, the God version of Skeletor, and Karg from the film.
Sick.
And it was they were like $35 a piece. And
that's the company that makes they've got the Motorhead action figure and
they've got
Venom
a ton
and
of
stuff.
Yeah, they've got a ton of, they've got Motorhead, they've got Eddie, 14 different kinds of Eddie, one for every album.
Those are neat. Yeah, I was just at a store in town the other day, Aaron's Rock and Roll, and they had all those.
For sure.
But I'm not in the collectible figurine game at this point.
Right.
Maybe one day.
Which is always the thing that I like to ask is, most of the time metalheads are eclectic people, then they collect a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Do you collect anything?
As far as music goes, I think my purchases have been cassettes lately.
Right on.
I can't get enough t-shirts. The more t-shirts I can get from bands, fucking kick-ass, metal bands, the better.
That's so rad, because I literally just saw a post the other day from somebody who took a picture of their closet, and there are so many shirts folded that they actually went through, and it's like looking in the bin at in the bins at Hot Topic and shit, where they're just shirts folded on top of shirts.
Yeah.
And they counted, and they had 390 shirts or some shit. They were all different. And so it's I could totally wear a new band shirt every single day and never repeat it.
That's cool.
It's holy shit, dude. It's that's awesome. I mean, I would totally love to be able to do that too, but we talked about that earlier.
Yeah. I'm not as much of a collector as a lot of the people I know, but I'm trying to acquire definitely more t-shirts and posters.
Right on. I dig that, because, like I said, sometimes we're not in a place to where we can do that.
Oh, yeah.
I totally get it, for sure.
I got friends that collect VHS tapes, and I think that looks like the most, cumbersome
Yeah.
They just take up so much damn space, you know?
Right. I mean, that's a goal, a life goal kind of thing. Because if I had like a house that had like a basement or something in it, maybe not even necessarily a basement, but if I had like an extra room on the house, I would totally convert one of the rooms, if I could, to, you know, make it look like the video store in the 90s.
Nice, yeah.
Or in the 80s, you know, where it was just like, where you have the tapes on the wall and it's like the new releases.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got like the other wall that has all the horror films and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
Totally cool shit.
Yeah, I've got a decent DVD collection of horror movies,
Nice.
DVD and Blu-ray.
What's your favorite horror franchise?
Halloween.
Nice. I dig it.
Yeah, I like all of them except for Resurrection, but that first one is, you know, probably one of the best movies ever.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing like Carpenter. Nothing.
Yeah, he's the fucking man.
Yep. So many awesome films have come out.
He's a cool musician as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Vampires.
That's a pretty cool movie.
That he does the music for it. I mean, he does the music for other shit too, like They Live and that stuff. So yeah, he's super fucking awesome, dude. What is your getaway from music?
Getaway from music.
That's a kind of a loaded question because it's extremely hard to do.
Oh yeah, it definitely can be hard to do when that last song you either played yourself or listened to is just in there in your brain. I listen to podcasts and I watch like true crime, serial killer stuff.
Right on. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you wish you never saw live?
I don't have too much heartbreak from any concert I've ever been to. They've all been pretty cool, you know.
Good deal.
But I do remember me and my friends saw a proto pentagram project, Demon live, and Wino from St. Vitus was doing the vocals, and their guitar player had like a fucking Line 6 combo amp. And I looked over at my friend, and he just was so dejected, like he was just sad seeing it, and it sounded bad, you know. It sounded like TV static instead of like actual distortion or whatever.
Not throwing shade at Line 6, but most of their stuff does.
Yeah, it was strange, especially seeing you know, St. Vitus is like a big amp band.
Yeah.
And seeing Wino up there next to the Line 6 fucking Spider or whatever it's called.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, I'm not.
I wouldn't let something like that ruin my night personally, but I was kind of like, what's going on?
Yeah, I could get that. I seriously could get that. What food can you not stand?
The only thing I don't like is celery.
It's like stringy water.
Yeah, it tastes weird to me.
Yeah.
I try to avoid it.
I would too. And I do as well.
I've given it a second chance before, and I'm like, no.
I get it, because it doesn't work for me.
I don't like it.
Let me quote Hulk Hogan here. That don't work for me, brother.
No way.
No, it doesn't work for me. Even if you put it like peanut butter on it, or like what they call ants on a log, where it's like peanut butter and raisins, it still don't work. It messes the peanut butter up.
Yeah.
Makes peanut butter taste like shit.
I'll just use a spoon with the peanut butter, you know?
Right. Definitely. See, you know what's up already. What's your biggest pet peeve?
I'm sure I have a lot of them. I don't like walking behind a slow person in public, you know, like at the grocery store or whatever it is.
Oh, where they just sit there and dawdle at the shelf? Like they look at everything on the shelf?
Well, when I'm walking behind someone and I can't, like, get around them and I'm forced to walk slow too.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, for sure. And they're just doing this little jostle with their cart.
Well, the worst is if it's like a couple people together in a group there, and then, you know,
and they're just
standing next to each other. So I'm like, man, I'm screwed. Oh, the worst is going to the gas station and there's people doing lotto tickets.
Oh, that's fuck that.
Trying to check out, and it's like, I went to the gas station the other day and the dude was screaming at the cashier because he was like saying he ripped him off for $1.
Oh, Jesus. You know,
It was a whole scene.
Here in Indiana and Kentucky, they've actually, unless it's like Powerball, like, you know, like the Mega Millions type shit, they, like, all your scratch-offs have been mostly moved to away from the counter, where they're in like a vending machine. So the only time you ever have anybody holding up the line with Lotto is when they're cashing in their winning tickets, or they don't know if they won or not, because I mean, most of them don't take the time to read. They're like, is this a winner? I agree. That's a big one. Fuck that.
I got stuff to do, you know.
Right. I want to fucking listen to these demos I just recorded. You know,
exactly.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take this one last break here. Then we're going to come back. We're going to finish up these general questions, and then we're going to listen to some Sadistic Force here at the Metal Forge.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day. All with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Here we are. We got the freebie earlier. So what is one of your most unpopular music opinions?
Man, I don't know. I don't want to shoot myself in the foot and say anything too unpopular. I don't know. Let me think. Who else do I not like? I don't know. Does it have to be like a band?
It doesn't have to be something that you don't like. It could be something that, you know, like your Smith's answer.
Yeah, that's a super unpopular one.
Well, I mean, that's, hey, like I said, that's what you like, so fuck everybody else.
Yeah. Have my my Smiths and eat it too.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go Sadistic Force is the only band that matters.
Right on. Yeah, definitely. At least for now, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
If I think of a better one, I'll let you know.
Definitely. And we'll always put them in the comments of all the descriptions of the shows.
The Pantera one, though, like, I've had people be like, yes, you do. You like Pantera. They're like, you're a metalhead and you're from Texas. You obviously are kidding me.
That's bullshit, though. That's like me living in Indiana, somebody saying, well, you have to like Axl Rose. No, the fuck I don't. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I'm not a big Guns N' Roses fan myself.
That's a pretty popular opinion, though.
Yeah, I bet.
You know.
Yeah, they're never been a huge fan of them. I don't know. I actually, you know what? I remember like when I first started like seeing my girlfriend, she asked me what my favorite Black Sabbath song was, and I said Children of the Sea.
And she's like, who?
She was like, oh, Children of the Great, right? And I was like, no, the fucking Dio one. And she was like, what?
Did she
I guess that I like Dio Sabbath. Some people are strict Ozzy purists, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, see,
but I liked all the Ozzy records too. Maybe that's an unpopular one. Is that Never Say Die is a fucking kick-ass album.
Yeah. Oh no, it is. I think no. I like.
Everyone's always talking shit about it, and I like have a copy of it in my car. I listen to it all the time.
I think a lot of those are gems. Because there's not a lot you don't get the first 5 album thing out of it. You don't get, Black Sabbath through Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. When you get to Sabotage, Technical Ecstasy, Never Say Die, when you get to those such and such albums like that, it's like there's a few hits out of that stuff. Not many at all. Not like it was on the first 5 albums, but
right.
There's a lot of hidden gems in those. And
for sure, yeah.
And
I like Johnny Blade.
Right.
That's a good one.
This is another ongoing theme here on the show. There's always some point where we either talk about Saint Anger or we talk about Black Sabbath. So, speaking of the albums here, what album is an entire playthrough for you? First track to last track, doesn't leave the player.
If I had to pick only one, let's see, I might put on Defenders of the Faith.
Right on.
By Judas Priest.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's got that ballad at the end, but like,
hey,
whatever.
They have great. Priest has great ballads.
I mean, there's a lot of albums that I would put on and listen to the whole damn thing, you know. Yeah, some albums are a real like piece of music, you know, like
Aqualung.
The whole thing. Yeah, Aqualung is good. I used to listen to Master of Reality quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know. Man, I'll tell you what I've been jamming lately is Hell Rot from Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some fucking balls to the wall, black thrash, speed metal.
Sweet. I'm going to have to
check
them out.
Shout out to Hell Rot. Yeah, the album's called Satan's Rock and Roll.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love it already.
Rips.
I love it already. Yeah. So
yeah,
speaking
it's like
of
one
shouts,
dude. Yeah.
Speaking of shout outs, do you have any you want to give to anybody?
Well, I'll give a shout out to Chris from Inhuman Nature and Mercenary Press. He's been a good dude. We've been stoked on his like support of Sadistic Force. Give a shout out to my friend Austin Harris, who directed our music videos. We got a video for our song The Cauldron on YouTube that I fucking love. And also shout out to Headless Eyes Claymation, who helped make the video.
Nice.
And I'm going to give a shout out to my new rhythm section, Blaine and Jose.
Definitely shout out to them. And as always, links will be listed below. So you can click, you can support, share, follow Sadistic Force. And you know,
do it.
Go buy merch, go support these guys because, hey, this is what it's about. It's this passion.
It's about.
For sure. So again, click those links below, and we're going to have links to the music videos as well. Final question of the night, and this has kind of been the one that's always ended the shows, is what album changed your life?
I think when I was young, I picked up We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll, that 70s Sabbath comp.
Yeah.
And that fucking blew my mind. And then I really want to track down exactly what it was, but like I heard Ace of Spades, and then I bought some kind of Motorhead greatest hits. And it was one of those where you could put the CD in your computer and it had like music videos in there.
Definitely.
Like the Ace of Spades era videos. So I can't remember exactly which one it is. They've got quite a big discography and stuff like that. But yeah, it was like I got to hear Sabbath and Motorhead on like those compilations, and that fucking set me straight, I think.
Hell yeah, because I love that greatest hits album for Sabbath. We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll. And if you catch an early enough print of it, it has Warning on there, where it's its own standalone track, where they kind of just cut it out of the first album, because you know that's in like the 14 minutes of jam session stuff that they did for side B.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
And
I dig that song.
Oh, absolutely, because it's just like it's the holdover from the Earth era of Black Sabbath.
Yeah, for sure.
And where it's still super blues based, and just like hearing Tony just jam the fuck out while Ozzy is singing is ridiculous.
Yeah, you've got like a guitar solo in both headphones.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
at the same time.
You know, Tony Iommi is so crazy when it came to stuff like that, because you know he would dual track the solos, and then you had Geezer who would play off of both sides of it.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, it's so mind blowing. It's like you get to like Paranoid, the song Paranoid, where if you listen to the solo to that song, it just sounds like completely distorted to shit. And it's like, well, what is that? And it's like a Melodyne that he's playing through. And it's who, as well as dual tracking it. It's like, who would have seriously thought to do something like that and completely change their sound because they didn't have a second guitar player?
Right.
It's crazy shit.
Yeah, pretty
inventive.
Inventive, yeah, revolutionary.
Especially in a time where there weren't many pedals to choose from.
Oh yeah.
Like today.
Yeah.
You know, there's a pedal for everything.
Yeah, you had to use like switching between the pickups and shit like that.
Oh, absolutely. Practical effects.
Way more.
Like it's film or something. Practical effects.
Well, practical effects are the best.
For sure. You know, not like all the digital stuff.
Yeah, CGI blood.
Definitely.
Doesn't hit the same, you know?
No, it doesn't. That's why I don't want to watch the new Mortal Kombat film.
Right. Yeah, they need some practical blood there. You want the actor to be like stained at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah, like Ash.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Ash, dude. I love the director's commentary for Evil Dead 2 because they called him the Gray Man at one time because he had so much makeup on from like different days of shooting that they had to match like 6 or 8 different scenes of scars on his face. So he had so much makeup on, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, we got to see Bruce Campbell on Halloween this last year do a spiel, and he was fucking hilarious.
Wow.
They played Evil Dead 1 at a theater downtown, and he came out and talked beforehand, and it was awesome.
Super cool, dude. I just... He seems like he's such a legit, like, comical badass in real life. I mean, following his Twitter is a pretty good indicator of that because
I just followed his Instagram recently and I was like, what the fuck? You know, he's just doing all kinds of weird filters and like, I don't know, doing bits. And I thought it was pretty funny. I'm like, yeah, this guy's out of his mind.
For sure. He really is.
I love it.
James, thank you for coming on to Metal Forge this week. I appreciate it. And as always, like I said before, everybody click these guys' links below. Support them as much as you can and as often as you can.
Right on.
Hey, thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of the Metal Forge. I want to take a minute to remind you guys about the Patreon page. Over on the Patreon page, we have the tiers set up to support the production of the show. We feature the Down and Dirty, which is just $1. There's nothing special for that one, it just sends me a thank you because every dollar helps. Then there's the Double Down and Dirty. Much akin to the Down and Dirty tier, everything helps produce the show in the end. You make your presence known, and I appreciate that more than you realize. Thank you for being a dedicated friend and supporter of the Metal Forge. By selecting that tier, you will receive some cool Metal Forge stickers in your mailbox. Now, we're really going to start pounding the metal madness with the Apprentice Metalhead for just $5 a month. By becoming an Apprentice Metalhead, you'll be given early access to the shows, published 24 hours before everyone else gets it. You're also going to receive 3 entries in any contest that we do here at the Metal Forge. You're also going to receive a 10% discount on all Metal Forge merch, and you're going to receive a sweet Metal Forge patch for your battle jacket or backpack. And now, here is the big one. This is the Master Metalhead for just $10 a month. By becoming a Master Metalhead, you will receive a hand-numbered Metal Forge Master Metalhead membership card. You're going to be given early access to the shows as well, with 36 hours before everyone else. You're going to receive 5 entries in any contest that we do here at the Metal Forge. You'll be able to submit audio questions that I will use on the show of you asking questions to the upcoming guests. Remember, timing is everything, and you will need to keep up with the upcoming guest list on the website. You're also going to receive advanced knowledge of any new merch coming out and be given a 25% discount on all Metal Forge merch. And you're also going to get all of the other rewards from the other tiers. So visit patreon.com/Metal Forge Radio today and help support the Metal Forge. Rock on.